there. So guess we'll move on to ESPY awards. So Tom, you want to explain what's going to happen after we announce the ESPY awards tonight, how you're going to go around with and see the kids?
Yeah, correct. So we have award winners from each school, and some are taking class in the AM, some might be taking class in the PM, and some kids might be doing distance learning only with us. So we have a variety of learning formats. And so what the principals are going to do, and I'm going to try to partake as well, is we're going to award the kids either the ones that are going to in class, award them in class, and perhaps other kids through Zoom, but we're going to recognize every kid. And we're going to try to get their pictures in the paper. So we've asked the principals after tonight to take pictures of the kids and from each school. So Holly will have representatives and Oak Heights and so forth. And we're going to get that to Scott and with the New Era, and hopefully he'll publish those next week. So that's the idea.
All right, sounds good. So ESPY stands for Exceptional Student Performance this year. This award is given to students who are doing well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They demonstrate respect and responsibility towards staff and their peers. They show courage by not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept anyone who bullies. So the school board and the district want to recognize these students and celebrate their success at the beginning of these board meetings. And like Tom said, we'll get some more personal interaction with these kids so they have the recognition directly besides just here. So I will go ahead and read through these and make it a public record. And Tom and the principals will get these out to the kids. So we'll start out at the high school. We have Logan Rayborn and Starla Davis. At the junior high, we have Benjamin Perry and Catriona Davis, or Harris, I'm sorry, both from 7th grade. And then 8th grade, Joshua Aker and Tiara Reynolds. And then from Foster, we have Aiden Slimp and Wiley Ferris. From Hawthorne, we have Riker Burr and Iona Ryder. From Holly, wow, they got me on the names this time. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to tear this one up.
It's Eternity.
Eternity, okay. Eternity Allison and Emerson Coelho. And then from Oak Heights, Aubrey Hagee and Charlotte Runfeld. And from the charter school, Riley Reed and Evan Milburn. So if you know any of those kids, give them a pat on the back and congratulate them. And Tom will bring the awards around to the kids as they're in class. So, all right, I would entertain any approval of the agenda. We don't have any changes that I know of that need to be made tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we had Jim with the motion and Mike with the second. Any discussion on the agenda? All right, and I will go ahead and go around and roll call just as I wrote people down as they were logging in. So I'll start off with Dale Keene.
Yay.
And Jim Gorley.
Aye.
And Chan Skeeney.
Aye.
And Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
And Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
And Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
And Deborah Brown.
Aye.
And I do not see Jason Van Eck here, so, and I am also an aye. So we will continue on with the agenda. We have public comments. I haven't had any submitted to me tonight, but we do have Jason Hay from the ESD. If you would like to introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Chairman Reddick, and Superintendent Yaris and board members. I really appreciate the opportunity to address the board this evening. As was said earlier, my name is Jason Hay, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of the Lynn Benton Lincoln ESD. I actually started with the ESD just at the beginning of this year, so I'm new to this role in this area, but not new to the overall area. I actually spent 17 years serving the Albany School District as a teacher and building administrator and curriculum director, and then 2 years as a small district superintendent up in the Dayton School District before coming into this role. So as you're probably already aware, we serve school districts in our 3-county area as well as across the state, but primarily serving 12 school districts in our 3-county area with about 90 schools and approximately 37,000 students. And the services fall into 4 core service areas: special education, technology support, school improvement, and administrative and business support. I'm not going to go into greater detail tonight, but I will refer you to a document that I sent to the chair and the superintendent. And you've actually seen this document before. It's our recently created 2021-2023 local service plan. And in that, you can find additional information about our work. And I just like to thank you for having me tonight, and thank you for your leadership during this exceptionally challenging time. It's been a crazy year. And on behalf of our board and our superintendent, Tanya Everest, I really appreciate you having me. So thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to student personnel reports, certified and classified reps. Elizabeth, I'll start with you.
I don't have any comments for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I do not see Velma here. All right, we will move on to the superintendent's report. Tom, I'll let you take it for a little bit.
Okay, the first item up on my report is the enrollment. And let me share a screen. If you don't want to look on the screen, you can go to your packet, and it's under 5B1. And let me get to it here. Well, if you don't mind looking sideways, there's the enrollment. It should be in your packet if you want to look at it right side up. So what it shows here is an increase of 28 students since the last reporting period. Excuse me. So over the last 2 months, we've gained 58 students, which is not typical for this time of year. As the board knows, this time of year, our enrollment usually decreases all the way to the end of the school year. Students graduate early and whatnot. So it's a good sign that students are coming back into our enrollment. The main reason is I believe students are feeling more comfortable, families are feeling more comfortable with our in-person hybrid learning. And we hope to reach the numbers of pre-COVID, 2019-20 of just north of 2,300. And if you look into the data, you can see pretty much it's across the board when you start looking at where the number increases are, from first grade all the way through 12th grade. And also you can see the school breakdowns in the lower section of the table in here, and most schools, obviously they have a bump in enrollment as well. Are there any questions about the enrollment? If there's no questions about the enrollment, it's good news for us. We hope to continue to see that increase. I will close this. Next on my report is it's an operational update. And I'll start with what's been just released are the school latest metrics. So I'm going to the OHA page, and let me see if it's the correct dates. They are the correct dates. So I'll first start with this page. These are the current, as the board knows, I've reported on this every month. This was updated in January. The month of January, and these are the new standards. So distance learning, I just like to reorient everybody again. We can only do this. This is advisory, but this is what's recommended for cases of 350 or more distance learning. And then we have the window here from 200 to 350. Here's what's recommended on site for elementary. and so forth. So these are the metrics that we've been looking at that ODE put out in January. They were revised from previous. And then this is the weekly report put out by OHA. And I will scroll down to our county. Hopefully I'm not making anybody dizzy. So here's the latest report up until 3/6/21. And the number is 68 right here. So in the last really month, we've gone from 92 case counts per 100,000, 73 I reported before, and we're down to 68. So the trend is looking very favorable. And we'd like to get to the green zone like Lincoln County. And so I'm kind of jumping ahead. Tomorrow I'll be participating in a meeting with the state's deputy superintendent, director of ODE, Colt Gill. And I think they're going to be talking about the adjustments that we may see ODE taking as they refine the metrics in these different categories. So we can expect to see in the coming weeks, we can anticipate adjustments perhaps in social distancing and some of the protocols. We should have guidance out for graduation. That's earmarked to come out around March 17th, as well as updates and clarification for athletics and spectators for events. And I know Principal Brown will be delivering some information about how we have been operating with our athletic programs and spectators. So more information to come in the coming weeks. Hopefully I'll get a preview tomorrow, and we'll see good things to come in terms of being able to open up more and offer more in-person learning time for our kids. Are there any questions? Okay, I'm back. Continuing on my report, let's see. In going around to the schools, they've been looking fantastic. Students following the safety protocol, staff following the safety protocol. It's been looking very good. We're gearing up for summer school, and we don't have a report for tonight, but we're building this, and we should be able to report next school board meeting of plans for summer school. Some of our guiding principles that will have all 6 schools participating in summer school. We're going to fund it using the ESSER 2 funds. And we just learned today, actually earlier, that the state is cutting more funding for summer school programs. Our focus this summer will be on academic and social emotional wellness for our kids. We'll have at least a month of schooling offered this summer. We'll be open to all students, and we'll learn about what sort of safety protocols ODE will be having for summer school, but we're sure that they'll be in place. Meals will be provided, transportation, and each school will be working on the plan over the next 4 to 6 weeks. We're also going to be reserving some of the ESSER 2 funds to have summer school, homework hub throughout the school year for K through 12. So we'll have extended learning opportunities beyond the regular school day, and we'll be building plans for that next year. And whatever we're doing in summer school this year in our homework hub that we'd like to have in place for K through 12 all of next year, we'd like to replicate this for at least 2 years, if not 3 years. Our kids, as you know, have been out of school since March 16th, doing mainly distance learning. And then we've had the opportunity to have our students back to in-person learning, all of our students in February. And we're looking to make up lost schooling and lost academic time the best we can over the next couple years. Are there any questions? More to come with our summer school and our homework extended learning opportunities at our next school board meeting. I'd like to turn my report over to Nurse Patty, who will go through some of our safety and health protocols and speak to the board and answer any questions that you may have.
Hello, everyone. I just want to touch on two things right now, and that is that we have received our supply from the state of the rapid COVID tests for the schools. We got 640 of them. They are for emergency use only, and they're required to use when we're outside of the metrics. At this time, we don't have to use them, but it's nice to know we have testing available for the students and the staff if needed. Sherry McIntyre and myself have been trained as administrators of that, and Nate Tyler for sports. And then the second thing would be our COVID vaccines. Most of our staff have received their second shot. We're continuing though with our protocols of mask distancing and hand washing. And I just want to say students and staff are doing an amazing job of following the protocols still. I really haven't seen any issues. We have had maybe 2 isolated cases of COVID that were not related to our schools, and we had 0 contact tracing needed for them. So it's really going well, and I'm hoping we get to move forward and open a few things more up.
Any questions for Patty? Okay, thanks, Patty. And Patty and Sherry have been doing just a terrific job. Fantastic helping us through this time period. Our students, our staff, our families, they've been doing great. They've been solid. We're very thankful to their help. Next on my report are school reports. And I'd like to start off with Principal Luke Osberger from Foster to give us a report on how things are going at the elementary school.
Thank you, Tom. We're coming up on our 6th week of hybrid learning under the hybrid learning model. And this has been a fantastic adventure for all of us. I do want to say thanks for all the pre-planning that we were able to do with all the departments, maintenance, meal service, everybody kind of coming together made it a really smooth transition. At the elementary level, we started with K3. They came first for a couple weeks. We expanded that to 4-6, and students have been doing a fantastic job following our protocols, guidelines, masks, social distance. It's really been wonderful to see. We are really proud of the schedule that we were able to build with K3 coming 5 days a week on site, 4-6 coming 4 days a week on site. We really feel like this has valued our students, their social emotional needs, given the crisis that we've all been through, and really helping to make sure that students and families are taken care of. So we really thank all of our supporters for helping put that schedule together. It's been really beneficial. So far, we have been able to follow all guidelines, all protocols, all sanitation in between sessions. At Foster Elementary, all of our teachers are chipping in and helping to prep classrooms in between sessions so that we can get that cleaning done in the 90-minute window that we have. And we've been able to come well underneath that just about every single day. Our 4-6 teachers are working very hard and very diligently. They are teaching both online live stream as well as in class. And so they've been really working to balance that. And Tom asked us if we would express some of the items, some of the learning opportunities that we have gained from this year, from this crisis, really. And one of the things that I would like to highlight is the need for digital learning that has taken place. I mean, we were really dropped into this and really, had to learn on the fly how to develop some of these learning strategies digitally for students. And this year, I'm proud to announce that Foster Elementary is making a significant investment using our Title I funds for interactive whiteboards for every classroom, because we hope that in the future, the lessons and the protocols and the things that we have learned with engaging students in the digital environment will help us enhance that in each classroom as we move forward. I mean, learning 21st century skills and engaging students digitally is a must at this point. So we're really happy with the status of where we're at. And I'm really proud of the staff and the teachers that they've been able to take this on and learn some of those skills needed to engage students in the virtual environment. I would also like to highlight, we are doing all of our intervention groups remotely. So all of our students that need intervention, we have been able to craft an online format for them to access this experience outside of our hybrid learning window. And it's been amazing to see assistants, teachers, and staff adapt to this changing environment. We've been able to utilize those opportunities and those skills. And I think that's going to help us in the future when students are absent from school, maybe for a long-term situation. In years to come, we're going to be able to utilize and put together a learning package and environment for students so they can still access their school as they're gone. So I would say, as we move forward, this opportunity has been well gained for us. We have learned a number of strategies to enhance this hybrid and comprehensive distance learning experience. And hopefully it will pay off in the future, some of these lessons that we have learned moving forward. And I'm really happy with our experience so far at Foster Elementary. Students, families, teachers, and staff, I have heard a number of good things about returning to hybrid learning. People are really excited about it. So any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Next up, from the junior high, Principal Martin.
Good evening. Let me get my screen going here. All right. Do you have my screen okay? All right, perfect. So with our transition, I've got a very brief PowerPoint to go through. The wins that we've had, the reduced class sizes are awesome. The kids really enjoy it. The teachers are as well. Some of the concerns that we had to do with the use of the masks. You know, we'd heard a lot about folks not wanting to wear them, things like that. Concerned about carrying out the sanitation. We've been able to do that without any problems. The students carrying their belongings from one class to the next. We're not using the lockers. And so we're concerned about that. Kids are doing great. They've got their laptops, they're taking them with them. Hasn't been an issue. The students are certainly happy to be here, and staff, we're real excited to have students back in the building. With the students in the building, the student services, of course, there's a lot of services that we're able to offer from campus that we're not as much via distance. And then Canvas, that's been a great tool for us. And so we've been very pleased with that. Learning curve has been pretty steep, but it's worked well for us. One thing that we're very proud of is our, I call it simulcasting. Our entire math department, plus about 3 more teachers, are teaching in person, and they're also on Zoom during their daily lessons. And so they've got an earbud in, they've got a camera on, so they're listening to students at home. They're also teaching live in the classroom. So that's pretty cool. It helps out a lot with distance learning for our students that aren't on campus for that day. With the sanitation, this is something that, this is one of 2 models that we have. We have another Swiffer with a short little handle on it, and the teachers are able to go through, hit the desk very quickly. We figure we're saving time, money, reducing landfill waste, etc. The amount of the Clorox wipe tubs that we were going through was just phenomenal. So we started with a few teachers, others saw it, they liked it. And by year's end, I hope that we're no longer using the wipes at all. We're just going with the little Swiffers. So final thought, our problem solving went really well. Most of the issues we were able to solve prior to the students getting here. We thought we'd be facing a large number of unintended consequences, but thus far we haven't. Canvas has been a great platform for us, and it is great to have the students back. We're eager for their full return. So in conclusion, thank you for your support of our students. Sweet Home students deserve the very best experience that we can offer them.
Thank you, Terry. Principal Brown from the high school, you're up.
Thank you, Superintendent Yaris. I'm going to share my screen here. It should be Superintendent Yaris. Is that up for you? Perfect. Thank you. I know I'm going to break some of the protocols. You're not supposed to actually read some of your PowerPoint. I apologize in advance, but just we had to transition to our hybrid learning. That I wanted to let folks know that in the beginning of the school year, we normally have what we've come to call a gentle start for ninth graders. We normally start the school year. Ninth graders will be here one day by themselves before everybody gets in. This year, as you all know, we were having our students with distance learning. So the ninth graders didn't have an opportunity to come into the building, and neither did some of the other students if they were new to our building, if they transferred in. And some of the students, even the older ones, were going to new classes. So we had an orientation for each one of our students. So we just had a senior class one day, and there's a list that we went through. So over 4 days, we got all of our kids into the building. So we were able to give them an orientation. And during that orientation time, we covered such things as the protocols that students were going to need to follow, went over all the different rules, made sure that each student got to their particular classes so they would know where to go on the 22nd, Monday the 22nd, when the in-person began. And so it went really smoothly with the orientation. And then as it shows on Monday the 22nd, we went to the hybrid model. How did it go? Like I said, this is one of those things, marking off the halls. If you haven't been to the high school in a while, please come in. We'll have you sign in the beginning and use some hand sanitizer, and then we'll have you sign out when you leave. But please, if you get a chance, come to the school. And as you walk through the hallways, there's signage everywhere. And I'm very thankful to Nate and his boys. The Tyler crew got in and put signs everywhere. So that'd been great. The rooms were stocked, the classrooms were stocked, ready to go with cleaning supplies, and they outlined the classes with the social distance plans basically in each class. We wanted to make sure that we had, when the students came back, we wanted to make sure that they were welcome. So we have people at every door. We had, like I said, we have all of the staff. Teachers were supposed to be by their door greeting students. Other staff, myself, counselors, secretarial staff, all of our different folks were out at different doors. I'm at the front door and welcoming students each day when they come in. So that's been, it's been great. We've been able to have a mask handy at the door if a student happens to forget one. We've been able to just greet them, welcome them, and it's been really excellent. Students were incredibly well behaved. And they seemed happy to be back. Greeting kids at the door and just, you can't see their smiles, but you can see their faces. And when they do smile, even under, when we have our old mask on, we can smile and you can see the eyes, I guess, light up. So that's been, our kids have been happy. Staff shared many positives from the return. One of the things I want to know, anecdotal thing I want to share is that a couple of my teachers said that there were students that during the couple of weeks prior, our quarter started before we got into hybrid. And so teachers had shared anecdotally that some of the kids, they had not checked on to the computer, but they showed up for school. And so that, like I said, we have teachers that are really happy about how things are going with seeing kids. This slide, what have we learned? I put the majority of students prefer in person, and the reason I'm just using that is we have about a third of our kids that are out and about 2/3 that are in for the hybrid learning. But there is that 1/3 that have remained distance. Following Terry, we don't have a neat little Swiffer thing yet, but when we were following the calculations on the number of cleaning wipes that we had two choices. Talked to my staff. We either bought stock in landfills and the cleaning company, or we end up coming up with something else because we were going to be going through about one of the big containers of cleaning wipes every day per classroom. So what we ended up doing, we went through and we now have each teacher has a spray bottle. They'll spray down the desk, and then the students we have paper towels that the students will use. So we do it combined, teachers and the students. One of the things we learned, some good things coming out. My staff learned at Canvas, our learning platform that we're using. Canvas is not evil. Many of our staff shared recently when I did a little survey, they want Canvas, they love it, they want to continue. Now this was the same group that was scared to death of it in the beginning, and there were even, admittedly, some of my staff admit they had some tears, but they persevered. Colleen Henry had helped them get through all of their angst. And she'd been great in the beginning when holding their hands through the learning, but now they love it and would like to keep it. It's a great learning opportunity for students who are either in the building or who are not in the building. And then is this the last one? Great people at my high school. They love to serve students, but I need people to know this out there. Great people that we have at the school. The COVID mess of not being able to see our kids was really telling on our staff. So it's been really nice to have staff now. I think we're seeing some light on the horizon, and I think they're in better spirits. Kids will do that to you. Last slide here. What's next? We're gathering info right now. We're trying to look at how many of our parents and students, parents will keep their students distance learning for the fourth quarter. So we're gathering some research on that. This Wednesday, we're training our staff on forecasting for the 2021-22 school year. So we're getting ready for next year already. And then we're just looking forward to the future. Thank you all very much. And questions from anybody?
If not, Ralph, if there aren't any questions at this point, since you have the share screen, I think you were going to give Nate Tyler's athletic updates. He's supervising athletics as we speak.
Yes, absolutely, Superintendent Yaris. It'll take me just a minute to switch this over. It should be up there, Superintendent Yaris. Okay. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, so the next part here, and I'm looking, I can see myself on camera, so I usually have my meal. I apologize that I did not comb my hair. I ran back from a football game, so I apologize. I should apologize earlier. So Nate had a slide, and his is much better than the one I prepared. We're looking at season 2, and as you can see down below there, he listed the sports, the season, February 22nd to April 10th, and then the sports that we have at this time. He's looking at the numbers he ran down there, and as you look through, one thing that stands out in the numbers that we have, in many cases, our numbers are down. Volleyball numbers are up, but girls soccer, boys soccer, as you go down the list, our numbers across country, girls cross country is up a little. But we have some reduced numbers, and we're basically attributing that to the COVID situation this year. So Nate had told me we had to opt in for football. So our application is posted on the athletics webpage. Volleyball started the season, like I said, I apologize for reading this, but we were only able to have 6 girls in the gym at once. And volleyball and soccer each had about a week of practice before the first allowable competition date. So as you can see, our students have been given some challenges in athletics this year. He gave some early results. Boys soccer team had lost 4-0 to Cascade. But I've watched boys soccer since I've been here at Sweeto, and we had more shots on goal, which just we had a little bit of difficulty finding the back of the net during that game. When the boys, many of the boys were, they stuck around in the background to watch the girls play. And when a couple of the kids commented when the girls had their first score that, guys, that's the way we're supposed to do it. So the girls had won that first contest. Volleyball has done wonderfully. Football, we lost a muddy one down in Elmira, and then cross country, the first meet, and this is one of the things we run into, unfortunately, their first meet was canceled by Toledo. They're not allowing schools outside their district to come compete. So our kids are having some difficulties because around the state, a lot of places just are not competing. Spectators, and this is one that Nate and I looked up. Down below, you'll see that on this slide, Nate has put a bunch of the guidance that we're going from the Oregon Health Authority, the Oregon Department of Education, and from OSAA itself. We've had a lot of struggles this year on trying to get information to how we can proceed with athletics, and a lot of times the information has come down right at the last minute. So it's been a little difficult, a little frustrating for family and for kids. One of the things that, as Nate noted here, a few weeks ago, we weren't even sure if we'd have a season for football or volleyball. Superintendent Yaris earlier mentioned we were looking to get into the green zone as they are down in Lincoln County. And one of the things I wanted to point out down in Lincoln County, even though they're in green and they've been there, they've chosen not to do volleyball or football. So we're doing everything that, if we're allowed to do it and it's safe for our student athletes, we are making sure to do it. Nate put this up for spectators. It's just giving some capacity, circled where we are now. And the capacity is basically 100 people for indoor, and then for the outdoor, 150 people. And that's with following all the protocols as well. People being inside, not allowed to eat or drink, mask, and trying to do the social distancing. Spectators, the must-dos, contact tracing, proper mask use. We have signs everywhere, limiting capacity, and the count on officials, everybody that's there as far as the capacity limits. Nate had brought this one up. People standing along a direct fence line count in the capacity limit. So in the beginning, I thought maybe we could have people out, by the fence, but even that they're counting. We have spectators coming in a separate entrance and exit than we do the players. And then as he had no food or drink. This was one of the ones that's telling, because when I went to Elmira, I looked over in their stands and they were empty. I think they may have had a couple of people that were videoing, but they did not have fans in. Nate told me that we're the only school in our conference allowing spectators. And then we've had the decision to be made at the district level. The school level. State not allowing parents at games. And this is one of the ones that is interesting. Not even to help with game management. So if you had a parent that wanted to help on the sideline with chain gang or anything, they weren't allowing them. He also pointed out Newport, low-risk county, not competing in football or volleyball outside the district. And so the Oregon West Conference not allowing any visiting spectators for season 2. What we've done is, and there's an example of I had one of our soccer kids there. The parents will have a ticket from their student athlete, and the kids will get X number of tickets, and the people they share them with can come and use those tickets. And then we contact trace from there. The season 3 athletics, Nate looked out when we're supposed to be, first days of practice, last day of the season, and then season 4, basketball, wrestling, and swimming, and hopefully, as you all hopefully are aware at this point, wrestling and basketball are still, I guess, illegal for better in the states. We're hoping that we get closer. They put into season 4, we're hoping when we get through to season 4, we'll actually be able to have our competitions for basketball, wrestling, and swimming. And that was Nate's last slide. Any questions?
If there's no questions, thank you, Principal Brown. Appreciate it. I'm optimistic for the wrestling and basketball. The numbers are getting better and the guidance is improving. And my notes that I got today said that there will be some more updates for athletics and for spectators coming soon from the governor's office. It's being reviewed now, I guess. And that's my report. Thanks, Ralph.
Superintendent Yaris, may we still have ball games going on. If you don't mind, I'll leave.
All right. Sounds good, Ralph.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the consent agenda. Just a couple things. Approve the minutes from the February 8, 2021 school board meeting and approve the retirement of Donna DiPietro, special education teacher for the basic life skills program at the junior high school effective June 18th, 2021.
I moved to.
We'll go with Jason, I think.
Whoever.
Second.
And then was that you, Jim?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll go with Jason as the motion and Jim as the second. Any discussion on either of these items? All right, hearing none, I will roll call the vote. Bill Keen, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Jim Gorley?
Aye.
Chan Skeeney?
Aye.
And Joe Kennedy?
Aye.
And Jenny Daniels?
Aye.
Mike Reynolds?
Aye.
And Deborah Brown?
Aye.
And Jason Van Eck?
Aye.
I am also an aye, so that passes there. All right, budget update and safety information and audit information, Kevin.
Okay, thank you, Jason. I would like to begin by welcoming Brad Toronto, who is with our audit firm, Polly Rogers, to the meeting this evening. He's here. The third item on of my topics, the fiscal year 2020 financial report and audit. Brad is here, so if you have any questions for him, tonight would be a great opportunity to ask. I'll go ahead, though, and begin with a budget update. Let me get this ready. Fiscal year 2021 spending through February 28th has declined by $372,381 compared to the same time period last year. There are four main reasons for that. First, we've spent less for coaching stipends due to the delayed start for sports. Second, we have spent less on substitutes this year. Third, we have delayed filling some of our job openings. And fourth, so far we have spent less on bus fuel. So you put that all together, and those are the four main reasons why our spending is so much less this year compared to the same time last year. Moving on to safety, we had one recordable injury during the month of February. A staff member tripped and fell, and upon landing, she broke her finger. And moving on to the fiscal year 2020 financial report. First, some positive news. The district's net position improved by over $8.3 million during the fiscal year. And what really helped that is the facility grant that we had for the junior high school construction project, and also the seismic grants for Foster and Holly Elementary School. Normally, when you make capital improvements, your assets go up, but that's offset by debt, normally bonds, to help pay for those improvements. In our case, a substantial amount of the project cost was covered by grants, and so there is no liability on our balance sheet. So you see our assets increase, but you don't have that corresponding increase in liabilities for the grant funded portion, which really helped our district's net position. Second highlight, the district's general fund ending balance decreased by almost $640,000 during the fiscal year. That was driven primarily by higher spending for instruction and support services. To put that into percentage terms, we ended the year with a 4.9% ending fund balance. We are on track to get back up above 5% this year. Next highlight, our outstanding debt decreased by over 1.5 million. We continue to be on track paying down both our general obligation bonds as well as our PERS pension bonds. Speaking of PERS, the next item, the statement of net position in our financial report includes a net pension liability balance of over $10 million. That reflects the district's share of the PERS pension system's net pension liability. We haven't heard maybe as much in the past year about PERS as we heard in some prior years, but PERS is still a huge issue, not only for us, but for the entire state of Oregon. Expenditures were within authorized appropriations in all area but one, and that one exception was facilities acquisition and construction paid out of the special revenue fund. We were overexpended by just over $372,000. The reason for that is after the budget for the 1920 fiscal year had been adopted, we ended up with some water damage out at Foster Elementary School. We had to make repairs prior to the beginning of the school year. We did receive an insurance settlement of $403,000 to pay for those repairs, but then the costs caused us to be overexpended in that area. And finally, the Student Activity Fund's audit report had no findings. The high school had a balance of just over $525,000 at year end, and the junior high had a balance of just over $51,000. And so with that, I'll go ahead and stop the share. And let me know if you have any questions for Brad or for me.
Right, I hear none, so thank you, Kevin.
Okay, thanks, and thank you, Brad, for being here tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, next we have a facilities update. Josh Starwood.
All right, thank you. So it's been a little while since I have shared a video with you guys. So we're hoping for next month, you guys to be able to be on site, walk through the junior high. But I am going to share a short little video with you of where we're at right now. I'll go ahead and play this. Well, hello there. I'm up here on the roof of the junior high. I'm going to give you guys a quick little facility update of the final touches we got going on up here at the junior high. And this project will finally be done. We'll be able to have you guys give a walk next month and see really what all happened and what the district bid off on our side to keep the price down, and excited to have this project wrapped up. As you can see up here on the roof, we got all new roofing, new HVAC units. You remember last year, this was all tent city, keeping the water out while this roof was being finished up, and we had issues there, but we persevered and we made it. And as we come to an end, I really wanted to give another thank you to our community, to Sweet Home, for voting to pass that bond and for trusting us to be able to maximize their money in making these upgrades to our schools. So we'll take a look in the inside and on through the building and and see just briefly for a little bit what the final touches are we got going on. And next month you guys will be able to see in person and walk this, and hopefully we'll have the board meeting up here and you guys will be able to walk through the finished building. All right, let's take a look. And the front of the building is pretty much the same as you guys have seen at last. A few added touches of the garbage cans finally came in and were installed, and some finishing touches for the building. On the west side, those windows we've been waiting for have finally arrived. And the old gymnasium is finally tied in and looks good. Looking on the inside, it looks so much better. Here we are in the teacher's room. All lockers are along that side. New cabinets getting put in. He's installing them right now. Room for the refrigerators will be in that corner. And then the new table, workstation areas will be all through the middle here. The BLS rooms are coming together. Added some storage over there in the corner. They have their own restroom. And then on the other side of the BLS room, you have the cabinets that we made in-house and or salvaged, put in and painted. Those are where the range will be, microwave hood, washer dryer over there in the corner. Complete room all set up. It'll be done soon. And here in the small courtyard, we're wrapping this up. You can see in through the art room right here, the nice overhead door with the nice glass panels leading out to the courtyard, and it's finally come together and looks good. If we go inside the art room, you see the new cabinetry that has been installed in here, the new sinks. This is where the admin used to be. In the hallways, we're painting them out the same color as the new, and we're also painting the beams the same color as the new beams, so it'll be seamless going from the new to the old. The lettering on the wall next to the art room was the last of them to get completed. And they look good. We're also finally getting the remaining reader boards installed, so they'll be throughout the entire school. Looking from the old part of the school in through to the new part where we added on or where we remodeled. I'm really proud of the way we were able to tie this all together to look like one facility. And as I poke my head into the new gymnasium, it looks great, and it's fun to see kids actually in there using it. Well, that's it for my little brief update for you guys today. And we look forward to next month, you guys being able to be up here in the junior high, take a little short tour of where we ended up, and then hopefully be able to hold your guys' board meeting up here. We'll see you guys later. And that's it. Any questions for me on facilities? All right, thank you.
Looking good, Josh.
Thanks.
All right, next we have school boundaries. Kevin Strong and Rachel Stuckey are on this one.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Just first, just kind of some historical information. When it comes to our elementary school attendance areas, the areas have not been adjusted since Holly and Crawfordsville merged 10 years ago. Enrollment during that the past decade has been growing at Hawthorne and Foster, declining at Oak Heights, and staying about the same at Holly. If you break it down, you'll see that Hawthorne during that time period, or actually if you go back to December 2008 through December of 2019, has seen an increase of 54 students. We are excluding this year in the when we're showing the graphs, just because all of the schools have seen declines this year due to COVID. Moving to Foster, Foster from December 2008 to December 2019 has seen an overall increase of 49 students. At Oak Heights, it's gone the other direction. From December 2008 to December 2019, we have seen a decrease of 69 students. And Holly and Crawfordsville, going back to December 2010, which was the last year that they operated as separate schools, from there through December of 2019, we have seen an overall increase of 6 students. Kind of looking into the future, we expect continued growth in the Hawthorne area. One of the big projects underway right now behind 7-Eleven, kind of out to Long Street. Right now, a new apartment complex is getting closer to completion. That will include 48 apartment units. If you go just a little ways east of there on Long Street, there's the existing Duck Hollow subdivision. Just east of there, you can kind of see it in that aerial photograph. Developer is planning a 54 lots subdivision. Here's kind of the lot diagram showing that. Kind of a similar story for Foster with more growth expected. Eric Lund, who has done some other developments in the Sweet Home area, has purchased property just north of kind of where O&M Tire is. He is planning a 46 lot subdivision in that area. You can see on this slide kind of how the lots are expected to be laid out. Also in the Foster area, there is a pending sale on the property that used to be the kind of the east side of what used to be the old airport. And so kind of depending on what the buyer decides to do, that also in the not too distant future could be developed. Kind of throughout the area, we're also seeing a number of smaller kind of infill developments taking place, some up to as many as 10 residential lots in some places are taking place right now in Sweet Home. Oak Heights has room for residential growth, but no large projects appear to be imminent at this time. This is a photograph showing the Canyon Creek subdivision. There in the past had been some plans to expand this. You can kind of see where there's some dead ends where the subdivision could be expanded, but we have not heard any news about any growth in the near future in this area. And as far as next steps for us, right now we're going to look at ways that we can address the boundary and enrollment issues, both kind of looking at short-term solutions as well as long-term solutions. And as we do that, we will update the board and communicate with families that may be affected. So with that, that's it.
All right, any questions for Kevin? All right, thanks for the information. Next we have calendar information. Rachel.
Good evening, Chairman Reddick and members of the board. For your review and consideration tonight is a calendar proposal for the academic year 2021-2022. It is in your packet. However, it's not in color, and I can show it to you in color. So I'm going to put that up there. A few things for you to note. I can't seem to minimize this right now, but a few things to note. We looked at local and regional calendars and found that Corvallis was brave enough to make the first move this year. So they adopted their calendar back in December, and we followed suit, looking at the dates, the important dates that they chose. You will see on this proposed calendar that school will start the day after Labor Day on Tuesday the 7th. We know that that's really important to our community. Our parents have let us know that through surveys that that's an important date they would like us to honor. You will also note, as I scroll down, that the calendar really favors us this year as far as winter break. We won't have an awkward break and come back what sometimes feels like the middle of January. We'll come back on the 3rd of January. So that's a nice stretch there from December 18th to January 3rd. Also spring break, I'll scroll up, will be March 19th through March 27th. You won't see much variation from this proposed calendar from what we had this year. We kept everything pretty much in sync. The one real change is that the professional development day that we had this year, we just had recently, which was Friday, February 19th. And for next year, we would like to place it on Friday, October 1st. Two reasons for that. One being that our classified and licensed staff really are very good about communicating to us that they want highly acclaimed speakers. And we have a national speaker that we've been able to book for that day. But we also, for a second reason, like to have it at the beginning of the school year or close thereto, because then we can really optimize the impact for our students. So you will see that the professional development day is on the 1st. And right now, Friday, October 8th is tentatively the October statewide in-service day. However, I could not find one piece of data that confirms that this is going to happen. So that is something that may need to be revisited, but we've held that spot because traditionally it is the second Friday of October. Are there any questions I can answer?
All right, thank you, Rachel. We will have that as an agenda item coming up here fairly soon. So next, we just want to make sure that everybody's aware of the open board seats. We actually have 7 of the 9 that are open this time around. 2 of them because they've been filled by appointment, so they just serve until the next election, which is what's coming up. So those 2 are Zone 3 Foster and Zone 6 Crawfordsville. Those will be for 2-year terms because they'll be back up in 2023. The ones that are also available are Zone 1 Holly, Zone 2 Liberty, Zone 5 at large, Zone 7 at large, and Zone 8 at large. So I just encourage anybody who's in those positions that would like to continue to serve, get filed with the county by the 18th of this month at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And if anybody else is looking to serve, same thing, get filed with the county clerk's office by the 18th of this month by 5 o'clock, and we'll see where the community wants us. So, all right, we'll move on to the action items. First one here, approve the proposed 2021-22 school calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we have Jim with the motion and Jason Van Eck with the second. Any discussion on the calendar? All right, I will go through and roll call it again. So Dale Keene.
Aye.
And Jim Gorley.
Aye.
And Chance Keeney.
Aye.
Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds. And Deborah Brown.
Aye.
And Jason Van Eck.
Aye.
And I am also an aye, so the motion passes. And then second action item, approve the proposed bus purchase of 6 conventional Bluebird buses and 1 wheelchair accessible Bluebird bus. Do we want to get some information from Kevin on this probably first?
Okay, thanks, Jason. Okay, we are tonight requesting board approval to purchase 6 2022 model year 77 passenger buses and 1 2022 model year 66 passenger bus that is wheelchair accessible. The new buses will replace 7 2002 buses that are each approaching or have exceeded 200,000 miles. The total cost of the new buses is almost $900,000. However, we have been awarded a state clean diesel grant that will reimburse us for 30% of the cost. And we plan to use funds in the bus replacement fund to cover our portion of the remaining cost. And then 70% of that amount will be reimbursed over the next 10 years through the state school fund. Kind of the one twist to this is that we will need to make sure that our existing buses are never driven again in order to qualify for the grant. And to do that, we will need to take them to a wrecking yard that will drill a 3-inch hole in the engine block and manifold and disassemble the chassis by cutting the frame.
Kevin, when are you going to start saving money for this no diesel in Oregon bus fleet that we're going to have to buy?
Well, I haven't heard of anyone telling us that it's going to get to that point yet. The good thing from an environmental standpoint, and the reason we received the grant, these new buses are much more environmentally friendly than our current 2002 buses, and that's why we have the grant. Maybe 5-10 years from now, they'll come out with another incentive for us to replace these. Time will tell.
Do we have any idea what the cost for the salvage of these buses are going to be?
From Darren Dixon, our head mechanic, has looked into that. From what it sounds like, it should be a push as far as with scrapping. So we still don't have a final cost on that, but if anything, it's minimal or it's a push as far as what we'll get for what can be salvaged.
Okay. I moved to approve the purchase of the buses.
I second.
Okay, so we have Jason with a motion and Deborah with a second. Any discussion on this? All right, hearing none, I will go through again. Dale Keene.
Aye.
Jim Gorley.
Aye.
Chan Skeeney.
Aye.
Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
Deborah Brown.
Aye.
Jason Van Eck.
Aye.
And I am also an aye, so motion passes. All right, do we have any board comments tonight?
I did have one comment that I wanted to make while Ralph was presenting about athletics, but I couldn't quite get my mic on quick enough. But I have heard from parents that they can really see how Nate is really trying to work with all the ever-changing rules and regulations and doing whatever he can to be able to allow some of the parents to go watch, and that's been really appreciated because, as you know, everybody likes to watch their kids and not very many parents are getting to do that live right now.
Thank you, Jenny. I also want to say thanks to Mike for filling in for me last month. I ended up in urgent care with my back and couldn't get out of there fast enough to make the meeting. So thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Any other comments? All right, hearing none. We have an executive session here under ORS 192-6602A to discuss contract personnel renewal recommendations. Just to be clear, for those that might be watching on YouTube, the board members will go away for a little while. We're going to another private Zoom, and we will be back. I do expect some action on this when we do come back. So feel free to stick around for that or whatever you would like to do there. So board members, we can log off, log into the other Zoom, and then we'll log back into this one because it will be active again when we get there. So.
Good deal.
And this is still me on Lisa's phone.
All right, it looks like we got everybody back from the executive session, so I'll go ahead and return us to the regular session. And the one action item we have left is approve the contract personnel renewal recommendations.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Okay, so Jim with the motion and Mike with the second there. We'll go ahead and any discussion on any of that? All right, I will go through and roll call it again. So Dale Keene, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Jim Gorley?
Aye.
Chance Keeney?
Aye.
Joe Kennedy?
Aye.
And Jenny Daniels?
Aye.
Mike Reynolds?
Aye.
And Deborah Brown?
Aye.
And Jason Van Eyck?
Aye.
And I am an aye also, so the motion passes. All right, we don't have any late items, so I'll look at the future board meetings. This isn't a board meeting, but just a reminder, last date a candidate can file for the May 18th, 2021 election is no later than 5 p.m. on March 18th. So if you're going to do that, get in there and do that prior to March 18th if you can, because they stamp it for the down to the minute on these things. Next board officers meeting is April 5th, 2021 at 3:30 in the superintendent's office. We gonna try to have that one in person, Tom?
Yes, I.
Okay. All right. And next board meeting is April 12th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. This says in district office boardroom, but I think we're going to try to make that one at the junior high so we can do a tour ahead of time like Josh was talking about earlier. So keep that in mind. Might want to be in a little early. And then first budget committee meeting is 5:30 p.m. May 10th, 2021. And I don't know that we have a location for that yet because we probably got to deal with some logistics on how to get that many people in a room. So, all right, I guess that finishes up. So we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.